Warning, this video explains the views of violent anarchist ideas, and Germinal does not condone this kind of political violence. In conformity with YouTube's guideline, Germinal believes that political violence is only legitimate when done by the government and other capitalist infrastructures. Those are fine. Please, don't ban me.
If a movement is not a threat, it cannot change a system based on centralized coercion and violence. And if that movement does not realize and exercise the power that make it a threat, it cannot destroy such system. In the world today, governments and corporations hold a near total monopoly on power, a major aspect of which is violence. Unless we change the power relationships, those who currently benefit from the ubiquitous structural violence, who control the militaries, banks, bureaucracies, and corporations, will continue to call the shots. The elite cannot be persuaded by appeals to their conscience. Individuals who do change their minds and find a better morality will be fired, impeached, replaced, recalled, assassinated. Non-violence does not work. We face a self-perpetuating power structure that is immune to appeals to conscience and strong enough to plow over the disobedient and uncooperative. On September 27th, I went to the climate strike march in Montreal, in which 500,000 people participated. This was the biggest march in the history of Quebec and one of the largest protests against climate change in the world. This kind of march, this kind of engagement, should have filled me with hope. I usually get a bit emotional when I see so many people getting together to fight. But during that march, I felt oddly uncomfortable. I was sad and angry, and I left not long after the march started. Seeing so many people get organized and focus on a particular issue with so little results got me extremely angry. I felt like we were wasting our time and that we were getting laughed at. The leaders of the world didn't get scared from this march. They don't care. It's why Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau can join the strike, call himself an environmentalist, and at the same time, not just fund, but buy pipelines. People weren't angry enough. People were happy to be there. It was a nice sunny day, and they believed that they were actually convincing our masters to make decisions that would go against their interests. One of the slogans I kept hearing was, "What do we want? Change. When do we want it? Now." This implied that the protesters are demanding change from the people in power. They're peacefully asking them to stop destroying our planet for profit. In a capitalist system, that will never happen. Convincing the powerful to make decisions that go against their monetary interest won't happen, especially if they don't feel threatened. And here is one of the reasons why I got angry. People don't want violence. People are afraid of violence. They, without any hesitation, denounce any kind of violence. But this position seems to forget how climate change, a product of our economic system, is violence. We need to defend ourselves. Chanting peacefully in the streets, begging for our leaders to stop prioritizing profit over the environment won't work. They'll never stop exploiting the environment. They'll never stop overproducing goods because it's what gives them wealth and power. It's funny how we think that the French Revolution is so great and how brave the American revolutionaries were when they fought against the colonial British Empire. It's funny how we think that their violence was more than justified, it was necessary. These tales of men and women going at war, doing violence against different dominant classes are seen extremely positively, but how can we accept or even glorify this violence and also condemn anti-capitalist violence? Right now, we're facing the biggest threat humans have ever faced: extinction. And how is that not a valid justification to stop, by force, the people that build the conditions of this extinction? The stakes during the French Revolution and during the American Revolution were pretty high. We're talking about the domination of one class over another. But those stakes are not even close to being as high as the extinction of the human race. Anti-capitalist violence is more justified and more necessary than any political violence humanity has ever seen. It's a matter of survival. It's like we don't even believe that climate change is real, because if we did, if we really thought of it as a threat to the survival of our species, we wouldn't be marching peacefully, imploring change from the people above us. We're not angry enough, and as long as we aren't angry enough to defend ourselves, the people, the institutions, and the system that are responsible for the climate crisis will continue to fuel it. For fuck's sake, get angry.